What's going on?
Evening,
How
guys.
everybody doing?
Not bad. Sipping on margarita, my little recipe my dad taught me.
There we go.
Oh,
6 shots of tequila.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. There we go.
It's Don Juan. It's good stuff.
nice.
Okay. Awesome. Guys, we're back with another Grody episode. Tonight we have with us Chris Fisk of Infinitale Chronicles, Book 2, The War of the Trees. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's awesome, man. So let's see. You funded within your first hour of launching over on Bancross. Tell us about that experience.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got the hashtag Mad Lad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're a
dude.
mad lad.
The Bancroft bump is real. I was ecstatic. I was floored actually. I didn't expect to get that kind of support, and I'm super grateful. I mean, we launched out of the gate, and within an hour, bam! I'm like, oh, okay. And then they're like a few minutes later, bam! The stretch goal goes, and then 24 hours later, the second stretch goal. I'm like,
That's
oh.
nice.
I got to start making more stretch goals.
No shit.
Oh man, new shit. And add-ons.
Oh hell
Yeah.
yeah!
I'm seeing a lot of success with people with more add-ons.
Oh,
That didn't
boy.
seem to be that didn't used to be the case. Like people, it seemed like they have too many add-ons sometimes.
Right.
And, but now I'm like, wow, some of these funding, they're getting their funding pretty quick now with some of that.
Hell
Like
yeah.
a lot of add-ons.
Yeah, you got a lot of good tchotchkes on this thing, man. You've got posters, you've got trading cards, you've got mini 3D figures that glow in the dark, or you can paint yourself. Is that right?
Yeah. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so we got the big figures, the statues, the nylon filament ones. We've
Okay.
got one of what they call a water leaper. I can't pronounce its Welsh name. It's from Welsh mythology. It's basically
Okay.
like a winged frog with teeth and a scorpion tail stinger. And this thing, yeah, like I'm kind of worried because you can see the example of it glowing in the dark, and it's like illuminating my hand, and I'm like, am I going to get like leukemia or something from this?
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah,
Right.
I got the good stuff. And then I also have I think it's like an 8-inch tall statue of one of the characters, and it comes with a free paint kit. So you get all the paints, the brushes, the mixing stuff, and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
So you can
pretty
make
prime.
your own shades and everything. That's awesome.
Am I right in seeing you getting a free book?
Yes.
A 54 full color page book, a full color book for free.
No, well, it's actually 36 pages with a couple of. It might come to like 44 pages, but it's roughly around 36 pages of story. And yeah, it's in black and white, and that's the preview or the first chapter of book 3. That was our second stretch goal. And yeah, we got that 24 hours after the campaign launch. So I'm like, all right, Mixum's getting my business this week.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Dude, this has been a week for fulfilling, as I was telling Chris in the back
Yeah.
before we began. But I got Phenomenova issue 2 from Von Coleman, and read that one. Good book. And then today, when I got home, I had this little Gemini waiting on me from Elliot Rodriguez.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thought we'd take a moment, open it up, and check it out.
Yeah. I'm curious.
There
you go.
Plus, Dark Harvest is shipping right now. I'm waiting on that one.
Okay.
I backed that
Nice.
one like day one, thinking it was going to be just like a quick turnaround.
Right.
But yeah, that one looks really cool. Elliot Rodriguez, what has he put out recently?
This is actually his first book that he's working on. So this is the preview book. And his book is called Ominous. He talks a lot about it on his channel. He's been working on it for a long time. But he'll be launching it on my birthday, June 26th. And
Ooh.
so I'm going to have to go over there and get my birthday present for myself.
Yeah.
So let's see. All right. Nicely packaged, very clean. No
Love those Gemini mailers.
Yeah.
no extra weapons, just a little bit of
Around.
Do y'all save yours or do you toss them?
not only the Gemini, but also double boarded on each side. Damn.
Oh,
wow.
nice.
He double bagged it.
Yeah, no
I've
kidding.
got like 2 boxes full of all the Gemini mailers that I get.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I don't
you
know
can
why
recycle
I'm
them.
saving them.
for when you launch.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, I don't need to buy this shit off Amazon.
Yeah, those things are like what, $1 or $2 a piece.
they're a bit. You'd be surprised. All right, less take next time.
Yeah, but that's not as bad as the one I sent you.
Yeah, that was. We won't talk about that.
Kevlar casing. Like,
hey, Edwin Acevedo is in the chat.
hey,
What's up, man?
Edwin?
What up?
When I tape a package that's got like artwork, I like cleared wrap tape the whole thing so it's like waterproof.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful cover. Check this out.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that is pretty looking.
I like the brushed chrome look for the title and the subtitle. That's pretty good.
Yeah, is that
Rodriguez, Lodoss, and Bird?
That doesn't look foil. It looks like just like an effect.
That looks really cool.
Corey Buckern's here. What's going on,
Hey.
Corey?
What up,
Hey,
Corey?
What up?
Edwin says, "Hell, peeps." Corey
Hey.
says, "Hey, everyone."
G'day.
Welcome, Corey. We've been missing you. Where you been? Edwin says he just got his copy today too. Sweet. So it's making the rounds.
Yeah.
All right. But this is the preview book. So this is the front. And then this is the Elliot Rodriguez, the logo for
Oh,
his.
sweet.
Yeah, that's
First
a pretty cool
company.
logo.
And then we got the previews going on in here. It's ooh, that's a nice cover. That's a thick cover. You're not going to be able to damage that. Credit page, that's pretty styling.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
yeah.
then let's see what some of the art we got going on here. Boom.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. I remember seeing the previews for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Zadok and
Damn.
Deathmonger going at it, man.
Oh, and we got Paul Bird on letters, man. That is, I believe that's AGE Comics. Did follow me.
Yep.
Good call out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll be taking a look at that and giving it a little Grody review down the road.
Isn't that Elliot's artwork behind you there?
Do what?
Isn't that Elliot's artwork behind you there?
Of course, man. So Elliot sent me this.
Oh, wow.
This is the cover that he did for Brother Kit, but I wanted the actual line art. So I asked him, I was like, dude, is there a way? Do you still have it? Can I get it? He said, hell yeah, man. So gave him a little bit of extra, for all that shipping and, things that he had to go through to get it to me. And I absolutely love this piece, dude.
Yeah,
I still
that's a
have
really
it
good
on
piece.
the,
Yeah,
on, the,
that's rad.
on the hardwood that it came in. This is my favorite piece so far, man. I mean, of my
Yeah.
Brother Kit stuff, this is my favorite piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elliot
that's a good
delivers.
But absolutely
Hey,
love
Zombie
that.
Boy. Zombie Boy's in the chat.
I love
man.
his Ninja Turtle double page, whatever you call it, but unfortunately, he's already sold that.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's a good piece too.
Denied.
Let's see. Zombie Boy up in the house. What's going on, man?
What up?
All right. So that was the unboxing. Now, let's get into Infinitale Chronicles Book 2.
Sweet.
And tell us, you said that this thing has been 30 years in the making. What the hell has been going on for 30 years for you to suddenly just pull it out?
So, I started this in 1990. I was a very dumb dyslexic kid, and literacy and I were not on speaking terms. And
We're still
one day,
not.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, one day, one of my buddies, one of my nerdy friends, is like, "Hey, the Pelham Public Library's got a fantasy club. You want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get my ass beat if I go to this thing." But my mother urged me to go. My parents were like, "He's your friend. He wants you to go. Just go." So I'm like, "Okay." I ended up going, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is just a bunch of dorks, like Dungeons and Dragons. Oh boy, And I'm just about to leave, and then the children's librarian walks down the stairs. And all I could think of was, that scene in Wayne's World when Garth saw the sparkles and heard Dreamweaver. The children's librarian was absolutely gorgeous, and she's like, "Oh, hey, are you here for the fantasy club?" And oh yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sign me up. What do I got to do? Roll some dice?
You get that real cool demeanor. All of a sudden, you're just like, Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
12 years old and my voice just dropped 2 octaves.
Yeah.
Level 23, Dungeon Master King.
Yeah. So yeah, 12-year-old me was, puppy love, like absolutely infatuated, and she just got me into the thing, helped
Nah,
me
she was
roll up
probably
my character.
married.
Oh yeah. Like honestly, I don't know what they were like, what like the Pelham Public Library was doing, but they had all these like super gorgeous like librarians.
Well, they're doing it right.
Yeah, and I'm like, the Van Halen song, got it bad. So I played the Dungeons and Dragons game for a while, and then high school came, and our high school treated all of our students. Screw you, Pelham High. They treated all of their students like criminals, and they said if you wanted to graduate, you need to have 140 hours of community service. And they didn't understand that like voluntary was not synonymous with compulsory. So they're like, it's volunteering community service. I'm like, if I don't volunteer, you're withholding me, and I'm going to be a freshman forever. So I told the librarian about it, and she's like, caught word, and she's like, you know what? I noticed you were making your own Dungeons and Dragons, your own role-playing game thing. Tell you what, you can beta test and use these guinea pig kids to like test your game out, and just keep them from climbing the walls and knocking over shelves and stuff. And I will give you whatever community service hours you want. You consider it done. I was like, okay.
That's exactly what Peter does.
Yeah, pretty much. Right? Making sure they don't fall, like knock stuff over, and that's why I got to do elementary because I'm bigger than them.
Yeah. The children's chewable value.
And he makes sure to let them know every day.
Yeah. Hey, you don't touch that. And then they're like, but you go to like junior high, and they're like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Damn it, it's not working." Where's my 40?
Yeah. Just show them, the handgun
like,
you got.
It's like I'm back in junior high. It's the same shit all over again. They're picking on me.
Just like fending them off with like a pool cue. Like.
That's awesome.
But so she ended up. She's like, yeah, just if you can just do this, beta test your game with these kids, whatever. And that turned into like 4 years, and then it turned into 6 years, and then it turned into 8 years. And all while this was happening, we went through like, I don't know if I'm dating myself here, but in the 90s we had like a major recession, and in order to keep the lights on the weekends to fund the library, we had to collect dues. And how we did that was, I was having my Dungeons and Dragons game at the time, or Chris's game as it was called. I would basically have somebody take minutes, and we would call that the Chronicles. And then I would draw, like I'd illustrate something like an event from that session, and they would get a newsletter once a month. So for $5 a month, they would get this nice recap of the adventure that they were on for that week, and then like this really cool like line art illustration or whatever, Xerox.
Cool.
And I ended up, after about 8 years of this, I ended up went off to university. Put this away. I was like, well, phew, it was great and all, but put it in the storage bins, leave them there for a while. And I ended up, going into the workforce. I worked at a newspaper, pre-press specialist, pressman, all that stuff. And then I ended up going off to California, Japan, Australia to work in video games. And it just languished there for like 10 years. Like it just sat there in this, in its torpor state for 10 years in those bins. And stupid me was paying money to have this thing shipped internationally. And after about 10 years of getting raked over the coals in the video game industry, I kind of like said screw it, and I hopped careers, and I went into cybersecurity, because those are two very similar things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I somehow managed to leverage my skills in game design and went into cybersecurity, and I was like, I feel creatively constipated now. Like I'm super depressed. This is around 2014. I gave up my dream job. It blew up in my face. Financially, I was reset back to zero. And I was like all of my entertainment, like all of my hobbies, maybe it's just me, but like I felt like they were all hijacked. And every single one of them was telling me they didn't want me as a customer anymore. and that'll depress the hell out of you when your real world is shit, and then your escapism is shit too. You know, you can't help but get a little demoralized. So, you know, I was talking to one of my buddies who was still an engineer over at Blizzard, and he's like, well, why don't you work on your tabletop game? You know, you always talk about that shit. Like when we were doing game design, you're like, yeah, I remember this one time this little 10-year-old hit me in the head with a brick, you know, and all this stuff. So I ended up, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And the two of us were looking on like Kickstarter and stuff to try to see about crowdfunding. And we're like, wow, the competition is so steep. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, we're going to get lost in the noise. So he's like, well, you know, what else could you do? You know, because we're talking about like, you know, what was Warcraft doing at the time? Because they had World of Warcraft, and basically there were players that were like, you know, right out of the gate, they were like, yeah, I want to get into this world. And it was like, well, why the hell was World of Warcraft already have like these people like, you know, at the gates, like it's Black Friday, when all these other MMOs, you know, they kind of have like a slow burn, like what's going on? And, you know, what we arrived at was, well, it's because World of Warcraft already had a bunch of like previous games and supplementary material. So people already knew about the universe. So this was just their chance to get on the ground level and get into the world of Warcraft. And I was like, well, what could I do? And I was like, well, you know, I did take a bunch of screenwriting courses. Like I went down to Boston. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Project Greenlight, but those guys will definitely prepare you for criticism, which is both equally amazing and soul destroying. Yeah, they looked at my script and it was like, yeah, no producer would ever touch this. Your budget would be insane. Your only hope to ever get a screenplay like this ever off the ground is if you convince like an animation house that's like got cheap animation to do this. So I was like, yeah, I was like, I'll do that. I'll make animation. So I like grabbed Flash, I grabbed like Toon Boom, try to do all this shit, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And then I got struck with peripheral nerve damage and lost control of both my hands. So
damn.
Yeah, so there goes the art days. And my buddy's like, well, why don't you like write a book or whatever? And I'm like, I don't know about books. He's like, dude, you're visual. Make a comic. I'm like, I don't know the first thing about comics, man. I know, I read them, I like them, but I don't know how to make them. So I reached out to this guy in California who specializes in like kind of indie comics creation. And he took a look at my screenplay and went, yeah, no comic artist will ever, like, you'll get laughed at, dude. This is terrible. Like, the screenplay works great for if you're making movies, but you're going to have to fix this. So the two of us honed it for making it legible for comic artist scripts. And that took a couple of years. And then while I was working on kind of on the side in the background, I had some of my artist friends help me make like variant covers and stuff for this book that we were working on. And it turned out I had like 10 books already written out. And it was like the Lord of the Rings, like when Tolkien went to his publisher and dropped this giant whale duke, like boom, you know, right on his desk. And they're like, we can't publish this. We're going to have to do some choppy. So yeah, we chopped it up. And in 2021, I launched the Infinitale Chronicles. It's called, the role-playing game is Infinitale. It's kind of a portmanteau, a play on like Infinite Tale, the Never-Ending Story, EverQuest, all that stuff. So nice. That's what the game was called. And then I took all of those chronicled newsletters and stuff, compiled them into the screenplay and then into the comic. And that's why it's called Chronicles. So it's the Infinitale Chronicles. And we got the first book launched in 2021 at 54 pages. Then I tried for the second book, and I have some great proofreaders. My former coworker Oscar, a great guy, and yeah, F you Oscar if you're watching this. He's one of those people that like he's one of your best proofreaders because he's not going to mince words. Right. He's not going to spare your feelings. Like those are your best like editors. And so I had him and a couple other people are tearing into it, and they're like, yeah, the 60 pages you got for book 2 planned. Yeah, it just doesn't flow right. Like it's just, I'm not feeling it, man. So I gave him the whole 10, the whole shebang, and he looked through it and he's like, yeah, we can move this in there and move that around. And then after like about a month or so, or actually I would say probably about a year or so of finagling around the flow, that 60 pages turned into 120 pages. So book 2 is 120
I like your
pages.
style.
yeah, it's not the length, it's the girth. Yeah, so it's a thick boy. 120 full color pages, and yeah, that's what we got here now.
That's amazing, man. The fucking
That's-
journey to get this book done alone is a story in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite the
I
adventure.
commend you on your passion on that, on sticking with it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I like this artwork too.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
that image I actually got from Pau Rodrigues. He gave me the black and white when for the Genuine Comics Perfect 10. This was
Yes.
one of the sketch goals. He actually had Dave Brink had a sketch goal or a perk where you could like get Pau to draw like a line art for you. So he drew a line art here of Queen Aisling, and I colored it, and then my one of my concept artists that was working on the game threw in the background, and voila. And we actually put it on
this?
What's up?
You did the coloring?
Yeah, I did the coloring.
Your coloring is spot on, dude. That's on point.
Oh, thanks. Not bad for somebody with peripheral like I have to have a vertical mouse for work. Like I have the G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip hands now because of the so I'm like nudging it over, and then the so I'm slow, which sucks.
Sure.
That's why I don't offer my services as a colorist, because I can't in good conscience be like, yeah, I'll get this done for you in 8 years.
Too many arcade games. You got that grip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, bring me back to the days when I broke the Street Fighter machine.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so these are the tchotchkes. Explain these from left to right for me.
Sure. So there are 3 editions being offered for books in this campaign. The standard edition, which is done by the original art team that did the first book. So if you enjoyed the art and the paneling from the first book, then the standard edition's right up your alley. The second book was the same story. So you've heard of variant covers. This is variant books. So it's the same exact story. It's just done by a different art team with a different artistic vision. And it's the same dimensions, but it's more of a storybook style, like the European Bendis des Années. It's got
That's a cool idea.
And then the third
that's
edition.
an interesting approach.
Yeah. Well, so I ran a survey after I fulfilled the first book, and part of like my day job is in cybersecurity, as I'm a UX designer. So, I usually get all the negative feedback, and that's kind of my meat and potatoes. So I ran a survey when I fulfilled book 1, and I got some negative feedback on some of the art direction and some other stuff. So I want to make sure that I give people more of what they want, and not waste money on things that people don't want.
Right.
So I broke it out into these 3 editions, and it's kind of a test. I'm trying to, because I'm releasing these 3 different versions, the third one being the black and white manga edition, which contains both books 1 and 2, and you read it right to left, and it's got English dialogue, but all the sound effects are in Japanese.
Okay.
The idea is that the little experiment is here. Whichever book gets backed the most, that'll be the future of the series heading moving forward.
So there's 3 different, essentially same story, but 3 different art styles for each one. So you had this book done 3 times over.
Yes.
Wow. I do not envy that, but it's cool.
Yeah. So people were asking me, like, when you made the manga edition, did you just like mirror pages? And what I did was I actually moved around panels, and there's actually added pages to compensate for the manga format. So there's additional pages for book 1 in that manga edition, and things are moved around. So it doesn't look like I just went, slap it all together and be like, yeah, we'll just mirror it. Nobody will notice, because I really can't do that as well, because one of the characters has something happen to his left arm, and they make reference to his left arm. And if you mirror that, suddenly his left arm is, it's like Vega in Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
In Japan, it's they call their left arm their right arm.
Yeah, left to right to.
No, you just need to go ahead and sell the book as like a special edition. It's a collector's item.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you got to misprint it for that. You got to have pages off kilter or sketch over.
The dyslexic edition. So then also on that merchandise, you see the little foil thing with the trading cards.
Right here.
Yeah, that's
that's cool.
Yeah, we ran out of Series 1, so I used to have Series 1 on here as a legacy perk, but they're all sold out. But we do have Series 2 cards here, and they contain some of the characters with little bios and like spelling pronunciation guides and stuff for their name. And there's 10 cards in that pack, but there is a possibility of an 11th holofoil card as well.
I got a question about cards and the packs and everything. It's one thing to make cards, print them, send them with your book. When you start putting them into those little foil packages, the companies that print the cards don't do that. Did you personally have to like stamp those, or did you have to send them somewhere else and have somebody else package them for you?
Oh, yeah, I had them printed out on foil, and then I have a crimping machine, and I crimped it.
So you did the crimping and everything.
That's insane.
Yeah, because a Cyberfrog had that, and on one of their books, and I got a packet of cards. I was like, how the hell did he do that? Because I know he printed them separately. So either he shipped it off to have somebody else do it, or he did it himself, and that's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, tell me about it, especially when you got GoBot hands. You know? Using my heel, it was.
You just put on the crimping attachment.
Yeah,
you know?
There you go.
No, yeah, it's. I mean, the thing is I still have some use, but like they'll lock up, and like I used to be a game designer, so I play a lot of video games. I can play any game I want on my arcade machine because of the stick and the buttons. But the minute you put a controller in my hand, it turns into T-Rex time. Like, you know, and I'm like, oh man. But it's, you know, it is what it is. But as far as the crimping machine goes, that left a cramped hand for a little while. But yeah, as far as the other stuff on here, that's the Water Leaper glow in the dark. I think it's like a 6-inch statue, and then the painter kit behind it. It doesn't come painted. It comes in pre-primed, so it's all white, and you get all the paints, all the sealer, the mixing stuff, like everything to painter. And then the last thing on there is that box is the 16-bit Heroes acrylic magnets. And boy, man, I think I went a little overboard on those. So they're acrylic magnets, and I got these rare earth magnet things that I glued to the back of these like acrylic charms. And like while I was assembling these things, I thought I gained the power of telekinesis because I'm putting them together, and then like 8 feet away on the other side of the counter, things were moving from these magnets. Like you can hang your tax returns on your refrigerator with these magnets, and all the magnets, the art on them are all sprite art because I'm a big fan of like the 16-bit JRPGs and stuff back in the day. So I got this artist Nicotine Fist off of X or Twitter, and he hooked me up with some awesome 16-bit sprite art of those magnets. And on this crowdfunding page, I actually zoom in on all this stuff. So if you ever want to get a closer look at the stuff, it's further down the page.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that right now.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
dark.
Yep, that's the Water Leaper. I just don't sue me if you get leukemia from that because that thing glows. I mean, that glows really bright. Yeah, that's the
awesome.
Yeah, a little paint guide there for you. And then here's a canvas map. Obviously, the artistic rendition around the torn edges. It's not torn.
I love that. That's cool.
I'll take care of that when it gets here.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. And then here are the 10 cards, so you know what you get in that card pack. And it also shows the possible 11th card from a list of cards below.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so you might get one of these cards in those packs. So they're like super rare.
Dude, the art on these are fantastic.
Yeah, these look legit, man. This is pretty awesome looking stuff.
Do you have do you have like character analysis on the back of the cards, or is it like a trading card where it's just the insignia?
So on the cards above in the legit, like these are guaranteed to get these cards, you'll notice that there's 4 characters there. So if you flip them over, it'll give like a little bio about them and then like a pronunciation guide for their name because they're all Irish and Welsh, and we all know how Irish and Welsh brutalizes the Roman alphabet.
Yes.
It's like, how are you getting a V sound out of that? Like, but yeah, and then as far as the holofoil cards go, some of them have little blurbs about them, like, you know, covers, the book covers, etc. But some of them also have a holofoil magic rune that is referenced in the story. So you flip it over and you're like, oh, okay, that one means earth, or that one means fire. Oh, okay, I know this guy's casting a fire spell.
That's awesome.
Hey, that's cool.
Sweet. And then that was a part of a free giveaway when I was doing the Twitter follower thing. When I got 1,000 followers, I randomly contacted I think it was like 10 of the followers, and it's hooked them up with this 5x7 holofoil card. The image on it was my very first fan art. My friend and the artist that is on the third book that is in our stretch goal for the preview. She ended up, she contacted me, Nerium Nova. She contacted me and she's like, hey, keep your eye out in your mail. I sent you something. And she sent me I think it's like a 12x14 black and white image of this. So it's all physical. And I ended up scanning it in and I colored it and then put it on a card. And it's all
Nerium.
Nice.
Is she the one that did Bonds?
She did Bonds, yep.
I have Bonds, dude. That's not a bad book. That's really good.
Hell yeah. Yeah, she's the artist on her preview of book 3. So if you like her art, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then those are the magnets. They're all little 16-bit sprites.
Those look awesome.
And they're strong.
Yeah, I appreciate that you went with, like, you know, high quality magnets on that. I got a bunch of magnets on my fridge and they don't hold shit.
Yeah, well, that's like I've had these like vinyl ones and shit, and it's like you can put them on the fridge, but like they don't do anything. They can't hold up anything. So I'm like,
I've got a couple of those.
I want to make them utilitarian. I want those suckers to, like, you know, you put like your 401k like statement on there, or your something where it's like super thick or whatever. No, I want it to be able to hold up a CVS receipt. You know? Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
Then,
oh wow,
Storefolio, love it.
Yep, yeah. So that's I in the first campaign we had our shipping box, so a corrugated cardboard shipping box that was in that same design. It was the Book of Dragons, which is kind of like a MacGuffin in the story. So I ended up making for the Ultimate Edition only. You get a Storefolio of this, and basically I've got these vinyl decals that I like ironed into the interior there. So we've got that guy in the Sephiroth pose on the interior cover. You got the map, and then you got all the exterior parts that look like binding, and the back looks like the book. But the front is a pocket, and you get a bunch of art prints, and you can swap out either the book cover there or some of the art prints.
That's cool.
Use as your front cover. Sweet.
Yeah, like like those binders have those clear sheet in front of it.
Yep. That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's actually pretty clever too, having a place to put all those prints. I got a stack of them over here from all the campaigns. I don't know what to do with them. I like them.
Yeah. Sweet.
That's really cool. Okay, and then the digital perks.
Yep. We got the
Hey, Mo Biggs in the chat. What's going on, Mo Biggs?
Hey, Mo.
Welcome to the party. What's he got to say over here?
So probably something about Fiverr and.
Not yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Yep.
He's writing it out now.
Yeah.
Okay. Book 1, cover A.
Yeah. So yeah, these are their first. So these were some leftover books that I had of the variant covers. We sold out of the standard edition of book 1. But you can see there's an Amazon edition. So there's a retail edition, which is a second printing, which has a little bit of editing. So it's not the same as the first edition prints. But I do have this cover A and cover B, some limited quantities left over from the first campaign. If you're interested in getting those, because I'm never going to reprint those.
Okay. Cover. I like all these covers so far, man. These are excellent.
Sweet. And then that's a
Genzo Man.
Yeah, Genzo Man. He's for a while, like, yeah, he's done basically everything fantasy art in like video games or whatever. He did like the Double Dragon neon cover and character designs. Yeah, like this guy's like pretty pervasive in video game art. And then here's a double-sided poster, 19 by 27.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I got raked over the coals when I tried to ship this internationally because I am I'm an anti-poster folder. I don't believe in folding a poster if I'm sending it to somebody. So all of our posters are shipped in those rigid cardboard tubes. Yep. And unfortunately, when you try to ship internationally with these non-stackable, unorthodox sized parcels, they really jack up the shipping prices. So I have to limit that perk to USA only.
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, dude, they really put you in the coals. And then that's
Standy. That's something for teenagers to have in their bedroom.
Pillow.
Yeah, the Ashling body pillow.
Yeah,
it would sell.
Little waifu.
Giggity.
Put it on Kickstarter with like 20 variant covers, and bam.
Yeah. And
this right here would sell on Kickstarter, no doubt.
Yeah, it's got the booty pick, but this was a free stretch goal add-on from the first campaign, and if you missed out, I'm now putting them up for sale. What I have left over, so again, limited quantities. But yeah, on the first campaign, yeah, if you backed any finite perks on that first one, you got that for free. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah. They're already printed. The books are already done. I went to the Granite State Comic-Con here in New Hampshire last year and had these up for sale there. So I already have like a finite amount of books already printed out. And what I'm hoping is that, because it's a first come, first serve when it comes to backing, you won't have to wait. Like, it's already printed. All I do is once the campaign ends, I throw all the stuff in a box, wrap it up nicely, bring it to the post office, and send it to you. You don't have to wait like years. It's already done. Basically, when I run out of those, then I'll have to order and wait like the 3 weeks or whatever for the printers to get me the rest of the books. So I got like 100 of these books sitting around.
That's really good.
Sweet. And then if you back $25 or more, you get this nice collector's box with an interior that has the full scene of that image that's on the cover, done by Kevin Sharp and colored by Steve Cannon.
Nice. Let's hit the chat real quick. Well, Big says, why is Peter bragging about his record collection? I got a stack of prints. Peter is eyeing that digital tier. Only one commission fee. It's all his, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I have money left over. I upped it to $6.
Oh, man. Are you as excited?
That means I'll be able to pay for shipping on a digital tier.
Chris, are you as excited for Ironheart as Stanley is?
There's no way.
Oh my god! I swear.
Was it on my channel last night or before the show? You were talking about Brave New World.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was before the show.
Right.
You missed out on that conversation, Mo.
I have not seen that movie yet, but I hear from credible sources it's really good.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible. In quotations. This is an excellent campaign, man.
Thanks. Yeah, so with those stretch goals, everybody that backs a physical book will get a free double-sided Spot UV bookmark. And it's got the this language called Slithith, which is the language of the dragons in the story, and it's you can use the back of the bookmark to translate what they're saying. Like the whole "be sure to drink your Ovaltine" kind of thing.
That is wicked, and obviously you're a Tolkien fan.
Oh yes, melon. But yeah, so if you you don't need to translate it. So if you don't want to get into the geekiness of it, it's basically like the R2 effect, R2D2 in Star Wars, where it's like you don't need to understand what he says to get the story. It's just like a bunch of beeps and boops or whatever, or Chewbacca or whatever. You're like, I have no idea what he's saying, but okay, let's go with it. But yeah, that's the first perk that was unlocked within an hour. So everybody that backs a physical book gets one of those for free. And then the second stretch goal is a 36-page, possibly 44-page, but 36-page story pages, black and white interior and cover by Nerium Nova of preview of book 3. So it's the first chapter of book 3 for free. If you back a physical book, if you back the digital, you'll get a digital version of that preview. And just to throw some numbers at you, because I don't know, but if you spend $5 on the digital tier, you get one of those books in PDF form for $5. You could possibly get, like, if you back the manga edition PDF for $5, it's 180 pages, and then you get the additional 36 pages or whatever. That's over 200 pages of content for like $5.
God damn.
How much is the book 1? That's an add-on, right? You were talking about?
Yep.
How much does that one cost?
Let me check. I think I
guess if it's an add-on, I can just click on it. Let's find out.
Yeah. So those are the perks. You have to click a perk and then go to the add-ons.
Not signed.
Oh, you collected book 1 and 2 into the manga edition?
Yes. So book 1 and 2 is in the manga edition.
Oh, you could have jacked that price up.
Yeah, and it's in black and white.
I mean, that's fine. That's the way manga is, and I love my manga. Sorry, Mo.
Yeah. Well,
this is heavily stacking the deck to drag the manga edition over the finish line.
Well, if you scroll down, I actually I'm keeping points on the editions and how many editions are backed. So
okay.
Yeah, I think it's below this image, the story image here.
Okay. I saw it earlier.
Right there.
Yeah, right here.
Ooh, yep, there we go.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. Below this, so currently we've got 47 standard editions versus 33 alternate editions and 28 manga. So I'm sure Mo is like, excellent, the manga is failing. but if you're wondering like where the hell's the interior art, I wanna see what's in here. That's like a big fatal flaw. Some people don't put interior art on their page. Right. If you scroll down, you'll see these little boilerplates, these little image plates of the books, and you'll get a neat little surprise here. So see, that's the standard edition. If you scroll down a little bit, see the button, click those buttons, and you'll get a free 15-page flipping book preview that you can download as a PDF.
No way!
That's
pretty cool. Man. So the standard for the variant cover A for issue 1 and the add-ons is $15 and B2. Do
you mind if I show off some of these pages for the manga edition?
Yeah. They're for everybody. See the little download icon in the bottom center.
Yes.
If you don't want to get tethered to a web browser and you want to read it on your own terms, download it. It's yours. You can do whatever you want.
You even have to scroll backwards.
Yep.
On the manga.
Yep. Yeah, mangas are read right to left. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I like the animation on that too.
Yeah, you can drag the page too if you want to get real funky with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my god.
You put way too much effort into that.
No, this is the right amount. That's a beautiful shot.
Now it just needs like that paint, like we saw last week on that pitter patter thing, where the paint was like mixing on the screen. The cursor was like dumping paint on.
Oh yeah. Oh, wow. It had that little trail on it.
Mo Big says he split the Western vote and added a free book to the manga version, and the standard is still bring it home. USA.
Yeah.
God, this is really good. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a manga book.
Mo No, nani.
I'll get the standard also, so you can calm down. It's okay.
I'm also offering a bundle in here of the 2 books, so you get the standard and the alternate art inside of a nice little slipcase.
Okay.
On the sound effects too. I'm like, what the hell is that noise?
Yeah.
It's me scrolling on my page. Can you all hear that?
Yeah.
That's funny. Wait
You
a
need
minute.
to
how
add
can
some sound effects of like your mom bitching at you in the background to get some chores done, or
Finish your homework.
yeah.
This is really good art.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's that was done by Antonio Brandeo, and I did the shading.
Hell yeah, man.
That's rad.
Sweet.
It even goes the other way. That's awesome. I don't know why I'm geeking out so hard over that, but okay. Let's get back to the campaign.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer in no surprises. Like, I want people to like, kind of like my policy of books. I never have. If I have a variant cover, I have to have at least one cover done by the interior art team, because I don't want people to be like, "Oh, that's an awesome cover." Then they open it up and it's like, "Oh." You know? So
I admire that.
So with this, you can get it, see if you like it. If you hate it, it saved you money. You know, you open it up, you're like, I'm not into the fantasy crap. You didn't have to spend any money, but you got a good free preview out of the deal.
Hell yeah, man. This is awesome. Let's see. Mo Big saying Jake trying to get nuked. I'm not Mo. That's who I am. Don't hate me for who I am. Love me for what I could be.
Yeah.
Mo Big says, I do want to point out that the manga version does have tons of eye close-ups, yet the eyes aren't super mangery.
Yeah, sugoi.
Yeah, I got you, Mo.
The American mangers.
Yeah. Well, I'm Korean, so technically it would be a manhwa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you told me that, I'm switching over to manhwa.
Yeah.
No, it's manhwa. It's Korean.
You peasants.
Wait a minute. Isn't the Korean manga supposed to be printed back or forwards, but read backwards? What was the thing that Liam did that everyone was like talking about?
No, Liam fucked it up, is what he did.
He printed it like he just basically took the pages and they didn't line up. You're supposed to read it backwards, but from left to right.
What? No.
You could just put the pages in backwards order and it would still work, but you got to read in the opposite direction too.
Oh God. Yeah. My dyslexia would go overdrive.
Yeah, you'll haven't learned.
Yeah.
Screwed the pooch.
Oh yeah, he was making it more cinematic. It's good business.
God.
That's hilarious.
So let's see. Let's check out the prices on these things real quick.
It's a
the 2-book bundle is $38. Is shipping included or?
No, shipping is extra. And,
how much is shipping?
I think it's like 10 or 12.
That's not bad for these 2 books. 50 pages on the first book and how many on the second?
So those 2 right there are the second books, both the standard edition and the alternate art, and they're 120 a piece. So that's 240 pages right there.
God damn,
dude, that's insane. That's an insane price. And you can, when I clicked on it, you can choose to get it signed or not signed on each book.
Yep.
Digital's 5, digital 5. Manga or manhwa 2. Deluxe, all 3 books, digital, 12. Book and cards bundle, $14. Yeah. Book 2 standard, 20. Book 2 alternate, 20. Book and cards bundle A, 24. Book and cards bundle B, 24. Water Leaper, my bad, $30. Nessa, statuette, and painting kit, $40. Dude, your pricing on these are really... Like, I feel like I'm getting a steal.
Yeah, it definitely opens it up for people to really load up on gear, and even maybe drop in an extra $10, $15 to get the first book, and all the extra fun stuff that comes with that.
My buddy Chris, well, we call him Grody here, but my buddy Chris, he is a huge manga fan. So I would just get the retail bundle and send one out to him and then 2 more to my buddies.
Sweet.
That's hell yeah. I'm definitely doing that.
Nice.
Standard retail bundle, 5 standard editions, $80. Guys, you should be over 10 grand right now. Like, no question.
Well, we got like about 26 days left, I think.
Are you going to go into? Are you going to relaunch another 30? Or are you going to just go into demand?
So, I'm definitely not going into in demand because I might extend it to 60 days, depending on how poorly or how well it does. Because sometimes you get like a great front-loaded backer, and then it just dies off, and it's like, well, I want to mercy kill that sucker, and I want to just keep it there, and because if I'm gonna linger, like it's keeping people from getting their books essentially.
And you said this is already done and ready to go.
Yep, it's all done.
So
it's all ready
going in demand is kind of pointless.
Yeah. So
in that scenario,
what I do is once I fulfill the campaign, then I send out a survey, do all the thank yous and all that stuff. And then I go over to Amazon KDP, and then I set up the retail edition. And the retail edition is basically whichever of these 3 editions wins, with none of the bonus stuff, none of the tchotchkes, none of the cards that we see here, or any of that stuff. And the way that Amazon prints it, they can't even do interior covers. So like you have like an ugly white interior cover. But I figure, that's your retail edition. The book will always be available. It's just, do you want to get the special edition, or do you want to get the peasants edition?
I guess if you left it in demand, you'd be able to just sell out all the extras, right?
Yeah. The problem with in demand though is, especially with my hands and my health and everything, is I have to maintain inventory, and I have to go to the post office and ship all the stuff. Whereas if I put it on Amazon, it's 100% passive. I don't even know. I just, at the end of the month, I get a thing that says, "Hey, 20 people bought your book," or
Oh yeah. That's print on demand, though, right? I'm talking about the. You have already made all of these. Like, if the book is done, is it being printed on demand right now?
So I have about 100 copies of all the books because I brought them to a convention last year. So I'm gonna use that, what I currently have inventory, to fulfill, and then whatever I exceed beyond that, then I have to go and make print on demand and get that many books back from the printers. So like the earlier you back, the faster your books will come.
Okay. This is awesome.
Sweet.
Ultimate bundle, $150. What all do you get in that?
So it's pretty much everything from the second campaign minus the legacy perks.
Okay.
So you get the standard edition, the alternate art edition in that nice slipcase. You get the manga edition or the manhwa edition. You get the 12 by 18 inch double-sided poster that has on one side that cool pic of Aisling, the elf chick there, getting rocked by a giant demonic hand, and then on the other side it shows all of the all the trading cards. So if you're a collector, you can see which series you have and which cards you have and which ones you don't. You also get the canvas world map and the magnets. So yeah, the 7 magnets. Oh, and the trading cards.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I ran out of like ability to like fill up all the stuff. Like when you click on the ultimate bundle, it shows like a bunch of bullet points of like, this is everything contained in the pack. And I'm like, what do you mean I can only list 10 things? there's more than 10 things in that. Yeah. In fact, not only do you get all of the you get the digital ultimate digital edition as well, but normally the way the digital stuff works is I'll send you an email with a link to what we were just seeing for those previews. But instead of it being the preview, it'll be the full book, and you can just download it from that viewer or just read it however you want. But in the Ultimate Edition, you'll get that link with your emails or with your email, but you'll also get an NFC card that you can tap to the back of your phone or whatever, and it will instantly launch into those previews or into your books to download.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, I'm seeing some really cool like stretch goals and perks and stuff these days. Like there was that. What were we looking at? Where the book like you could get the app or something, and then the book would come to life. I don't know if that was a stretch goal, but then there was that other book that had the knife, the polymer knife with all the wraparounds. Jake, what was the name of that book?
Was that
the amazing back end? Yeah, and it had that cool map too. And then that knife was insane.
Yeah, well, dude, so Jeremy there, he hooked me up with how I'm doing the boxes there in the store folios. He actually wood carved, like he has his own woodworked and wood stained collector's box that's in the shape of an old tome for Beckon. So it's
wow.
Yeah.
Like, damn, dude.
And then there was that other campaign that had like the vial that got the book banned or something.
Yeah.
Because it was selling that vial that was supposed to be in the book. It was like it contained the drug like that made everybody.
Was Terror in the Trenches by Von Klaus.
Yeah, that thing looked cool too.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that book.
I actually got Terror in the Trenches from Von. I'm waiting on 2.
Yeah.
Did you get the vial?
No, I didn't get the vial.
You know, like a thing to put your drugs in.
Haven't needed that for a couple of years. But that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah. What we're looking at on the screen right now is an early bird bonus. So basically tomorrow's the last day that you get this for free. If you back within the first 7 days, you get this nice jumbo hollow foil card for free.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, people in the chat, you need to jump on this book. This is phenomenal. So you're 30 years. You've had the trials and obstacles to get this thing produced and made. Your first book came out in 2021.
Yep.
What did you learn between book 1 and now book 2 for like fulfilling or how to organize yourself when you're getting ready to do your own campaign?
I think I have learned everything of what not to do. I have done everything wrong. My first campaign, I did not launch on anybody's channel. I thought the product would speak for itself. I thought that there would be like promotion from the crowdfunding. With Indiegogo, you don't really get any of that. You get like the
right.
Here it is. Like you better bring your own traffic in, kid. So I was on Rini Draw's stream. She was, when we were doing the pitches. First, it was Sugar Chris invited me on. He's like, I know this person that would be really interested in talking. She's into fantasy stuff too. You guys would probably hit it off. So I ended up getting on Rini Draw's stream, and for Fiendish there. And I was talking about the book and everything, and she like goes up to the page and she goes, "Oh, and nobody's backed your book." Humiliation. Yeah, like, oh no. But so I've done pretty much all the wrong stuff with that first campaign. And when I kind of put on my user experience goggles to do the survey after I fulfilled, because was it Business 101, know your customer, and when I sent out that survey, I got a whole bunch of useful data on who my targeted demographics are, who actually likes this stuff, and the stuff they like, I'm trying to make more of. The stuff that they didn't like, I'm trying not to waste money on. I learned that the general demographics for my book is an almost 50-50 split for men and women. And the average age for my fans or of the first book that got it backed was between early 40s and late 60s, and also early 20s.
Yeah, that's what I would have put it at. Like, you just got to find where that audience is at. This audience is most definitely 40 to 60.
Yeah, it's 40, 60,
some 30s.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is like nobody in their 30s back to the first book, or at least according to the survey, the people that responded back, it was like really, really young 20s, like 21, 23, even 24, I think. But like after like 24, nobody, and then all of a sudden it went right into like early 40s. It's like, whoa, what the hell? And I had more backers from Europe than I did from the United States.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little nugget.
Oh man, how was the shipping on that?
Oh God, it destroyed me. It was right at the height of COVID 2021. I feel like this is why, I don't want to get political or anything. This is why I'm cheering on those tariffs, because as an American small business person, we are screwed trying to ship internationally. Like it's just impossible. You can't compete with like Amazon or these big corporations or China that just get it all for free. Like all the tariffs that when they try to import, like the alternate art edition, I give comp books to my artists. Like, hey, you worked on it. You shouldn't have to buy it. Here's your book. And I get a message. Hey, yeah, I can't accept it. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, they're asking $150 from me.
God damn.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, it's free. I didn't even list it as like a high value product. I think I listed it like $20. And they're like, yeah, here's the image. And it was like, basically customs is like, yeah, you got to pay us this. And I was like, wow, that sucks. But,
it's so bad. You had people like trying to do, I don't know, whatever you call it, distribution from the other countries. Like, oh, send it all to this guy.
Yeah.
We'll work out a deal and he'll do the shipping. You just got to send one big package to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know Critical Blast handles a lot of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
But, oh, dude, I had this one guy. I feel so bad, man. So I shipped, he backed the Ultimate Bundle from the first campaign. And I get a message, like it was like a month later, and he's like, where the hell's my shit? And I'm like, well, that's a good question. So I look up his tracking number, and I'm like, oh, this is odd. It says here that New Zealand doesn't accept anything from the United States. They turn it away at the border. I'm like, I can't give you your product. And he's like, cut the crap. Are you that pissed off that the shipping is that bad? You can just say that. And I'm like, no, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I swear. He looks it up and he's like, I'm really sorry, man. I just looked it up. This is messed up. New Zealand is literally turning away stuff at the border. And I ended up, I'm like, eventually I waited like a couple more months. And then finally I was like, you know what? This guy ordered this shit. Like this logistic thing isn't his problem. If you're a customer, like it's not your problem about how the company gets your shit to you. So I sent it to him. It cost me a lot of money, but I brute forced it through like 6 months later. So he ended up having to wait 6 months to get a product that he should have had, at the beginning of the year, essentially. And yeah, it hurt.
I commend you for like following through on that. Like, I think that speaks a lot to your character. Whatever you paid for that, I hope you get in return for the trust from people watching this and who hear the horror stories that you were, making it happen. So kudos to you on that.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I have a philosophy that like once you ask people for their money, you're on the hook to deliver. So they don't care about excuses. Like it's not their problem. You just get them what they ordered,
I'm of the same mindset, and I appreciate your approach on that.
Thanks. Yeah, man.
Moby says, so I am innocent Chinese immigrant. No need to search. Drop to Chris for smuggling the comic into New Zealand under cover of night.
I'm gonna remember that. Like, if I ever go visit New Zealand or anything, I am not going without like a suitcase full of like mail that needs to get dispersed.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Right.
Yeah. God. Yeah, that was a nightmare. And the thing is if it screwed, like if it did something as a rinky-dink comic, can you imagine what other products like are getting screwed?
Oh, no kidding, man.
Yeah.
People aren't getting their what is it? Timu. They're not getting their Timu shit.
Wish.com.
Their shoelace holders or something. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh God. Mobig says, Stanley, if New Zealand Customs gives you any shit, just tell them you're a big fan of Ironheart. Oh, goddamn. Oh, my God. So, let's see. We'll put this to the side for a little bit. We'll see what happens later on in the show with it. But, so... Did you grow up reading nothing but fantasy, or did you just like come into it on your own, or what was the process for you thinking to go high fantasy outside of tabletop gaming?
Yeah, so the tabletop gaming thing, that was my jam when I was a kid. I loved all like the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Dude, I was so hard up for fantasy that I loved the Hercules Legendary Journeys and Xena Warrior Princess. Yeah. I mean, that shit was ultimate cheese, but I loved every second of it.
Hell yeah.
And for me, for comics, it's weird because like I've read the classics. You know, I love like The Killing Joke, in my opinion, is one of the greatest books out there. You know, it's that whole, you know, the whole like it's weird because everybody's like, oh yeah, it's the Joker's an ass and all this stuff. And it's like, no, this is a Commissioner Gordon story.
Yes.
This is all about freaking Gordon, man. And like, you know, that whole idea that he won at the end, it was just like, yeah, so screw you, Joker. But like that was like I really wasn't the capes and tights guy or when it came to comics though. That kind of came after like I was introduced because I went into this comic store in Salem, New Hampshire, and it was like one of those mom and pop ones. It wasn't like the big Newbury Comics ones. It was a hole in the wall essentially. And I went in there and they had all sorts of weird shit. And they didn't have like the protections for like adult like kid stuff. So I walked in and I saw tits all over the wall. I'm like, this. Oh my god, this is my. I'm here for you got me as a customer for life. And I was introduced to Metal Hurlant, which is the French version of Heavy Metal magazine. So I got Metal Hurlant, and then I got Druna, Den, all of that stuff, and then Fastener and Larson's books. Something called Quadrant, which was by this guy Peter Shue, airbrushed like Soriyama style art, like absolutely awesome. Just boobs and everything everywhere. The Red Sonja books, the Conan books, Elric and Melnibide, all that stuff. Ate all of that up. And here's the weird thing: I bought this one book. In my opinion, it had some of the ugliest art I've ever seen, but it's a testament to good writing overriding bad art, and it was James O'Barr's The Crow. Like I opened that book and I was like, Jesus, this looks like a high schooler with a ballpoint pen drew this shit. But that story just pulled me in, and I ended up buying like 3 editions over the years because like I broke the spine on the first one reading it so many times because I was like because I thought it was bad, like okay art, and I fancied myself as an artist, and this was like early high school. And then by like graduation, like my art was better, and my buddies' arts, like my friends, we were all the art kids. So,
yeah, in a way, that's kind of like the Incal or whatever. The artwork's kind of like it's what they call deceptively simple, right? But the story is bizarre. It's like a crazy. It's totally worth the read because you don't know where it's going to go next. It's a great book.
What up, Paulies?
Hey, what's going on?
Lobig says Peter Shue. Sounds like Peter's next project after his failed fiber attempt. But I'm not telling him right now. The hefty dude foot shit has got to be even more niche.
You think I can make money at that?
That's like how they have like foot fetish porn for people now. We've got like Peter's heavy foot porn.
Only foots.
Yeah, the bathwater foot.
Anybody want to buy some foot water?
There's a toenail in this one.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a collector's item.
Yep.
Do you guys remember before when eBay was first starting? Somebody sold for $15,000 a empty shoebox containing a fart from Britney Spears.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember somebody trying to sell bags of air for like $1,000 each.
God,
that's good.
But like, what's the good end of that? Like, what?
That's a whole other episode, man. Like, you could do an entire live stream on like the internet of the late '90s.
He should have streamed and just been like, worth it.
What is it like somebody with like IBS and it's like you start tearing up? It's like, did I just get maced? What if it was just like a fat dude, like some guy named Sid that's like, and they'll buy anything.
Best $15,000.
Yeah, no, you definitely you put that thing up on the shelf and you brag about it to all your friends. Like, hey,
there's a fart in that box.
You ship it to Mexico, El Viento de Muerte.
But did you get yourself a new Corolla? Have you seen what I've got?
The shrine. Candles around it. Oh, no, you don't want candles around it. No!
So with book 2 out now, can you tell us a little bit about what happened in book 1 and what we can expect in book 2?
Sure. So again, this was all based off of the tabletop role-playing game that I did back in like 12, 13, around that time. The Pelham Public Library had like the forbidden section, which was all these like really old books that you had to wear gloves to read. And they were the ancient, like, it's weird because it's like, it's America and we're only like 250 years old, but like some reason that town had a bunch of really, really old like manuscripts and books that were translated into English. And we had like the Walsung Saga, which was basically the Icelandic Viking stories, the Mabinogi, which is the Welsh folklore. What else did we have? The Kalevala, the Finland folklore stories. And when I was writing up my fantasy world, I was like, I don't want to rip off Tolkien because that's basically Dungeons and Dragons. And I don't want to rip off Dungeons and Dragons because that's a rip off of a rip off. You know, so I went straight to the source. I grabbed all of like the old, like, dude, I even grabbed some of Wagner's operas, like, you know, minus the music. Like there's some cool ass stuff in there, like the Ring of the Nibelung, all that stuff, you know. And it's like, okay, this is clearly what Tolkien must have been using.
On?
Yeah, the Ring to Nibelung. No,
I heard nipple in there.
Yeah, it was the wardrobe malfunction of Janet Jackson. But
Wagner's wardrobe malfunction.
Isn't that how YouTube got started?
But so I grabbed all that stuff and I started building my tabletop role-playing game off of it. And there was this one book that I read. It was based on like parables, like Aesop's fables and all that other stuff. And it had this section on Plato's allegory of the cave. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Plato's allegory of the cave. It's a very common one. We see it in The Matrix. We see it in old movies like Logan's Run. And the idea is everything that you know is a lie and you're living in an invisible prison. And would you prefer a safe, comfortable prison or a dangerous freedom? And that's kind of the you know, the meta I guess question that the story asks. And our world, Asperia, where the story for Infinitale takes place, exists on this, like, the known world is this one giant continent called Foithla. That's what the big map was, and it's divided out in a spoke formation of these seven sovereignties that are all ruled by queens. It's this like matriarchal society, and everybody that lives in them are like basically eternally adolescent. Like they're pretty people with problems. You know, they don't have kids, so consequence-free sex. They don't get old. They don't get sick. They just live forever, and they're, you know, languishing in their own hedonism. And the thing is they're ruled by these like custodial gods, these gigantic, titanic beings that walk among them, and are, you know, they, for the most part, they think they're benevolent. They're like, okay, you know, they're this parental figure telling them what to do. And they live under kind of a theocratic dogma that, you know, they don't really question it because it's like, well, that's how it's always been. You know, like we live in a perfect world. Why would we question anybody, you know? But they do have this one thing every so often, because they are immortal. Every so often they have to go through this like renewal harvest. And what that does is it forces this lottery where names are put in and drawn by the druids or the priestly class of the people. And those names are drawn to be sacrificed to the gods, and their souls will be renewed and they will be reborn. And basically they're being devoured by the gods. And they're like, okay, well, you know, that's a small price to pay. You know, it's a necessary evil, but you know what? We live forever. You know, if you were told that you could live, you know, for 80 years in the body of a 20-something, and then once you reach that 80-year point, you know, somebody puts a bullet in the back of your head and you don't even know it, you don't see it coming. Would you be fine with that versus, you know, maybe living into your late 70s and dying of like some, you know, elderly based disease? You know, personally, I'd choose the former, but I'd also be like Cypher in the Matrix, and I would choose to go back in. You know, I know it's not steak that I'm eating, but it tastes good. You know, so that's kind of the opening of it. And what we learn is that our main heroine here, Aisling, she's one of the queens, and she gets pregnant, and nobody knows what the hell's going on. They're like, that's what do we do? They end up hiring a one of the animal husbandry experts as their midwife to deliver this kid, and all sorts of stuff goes wrong, and she starts going into this coma, and she starts seeing these weird fevered visions, and there's this blue wisp of fire that's telling her everything's a lie. You need to go to this forbidden city you're not supposed to go to, and you'll find answers. If once you leave the visions, you're going to have to, take your people because they're eventually going to be killed. You're all cattle. And, she starts freaking out, and they're like, oh shit. Like if our queen goes nuts, like let's lottery her, and it turns out when she comes out of this coma, her child, her baby, who they have this religious naming ceremony where they name the kid from the name is chosen by the priests instead of the people. And they get their kid named. And while she was in her coma or whatever, she wakes up, already learned the kid's name before she even, she came out of the coma. She's like, yeah, I know the kid's name. I was already told it. And that's kind of where she starts getting clued in that maybe those weren't like hallucinations. And it turns out that kid's name was drawn for the lottery. And she's like, wait a minute. My kid who's like, not even like, hasn't even lived to like, maturity or whatever. And they want us to sacrifice this kid. No way. He hasn't even had a chance to live yet. And that little act of defiance is like, wait a minute. Your only thing you had to do was obey. And now you're not obeying me. Okay. Well, that's when reality starts crashing down around them. And the husband says, just to keep things cool, I'll go to that forbidden city. It's going to do one of two things. It's either going to prove you're a nut bar, or it's going to, basically vindicate whatever your visions were, and we can get whatever the visions were telling you to get. And when he goes there, he doesn't come back. So yeah, shit happens. Really bad stuff happens. And we open in book 2 where she starts seeing that doomed expedition that went out to the forbidden city. They started finding bodies in various parts of the frontier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mo Big says keep the spoilers light, but when you get passionate about your project, it's bound to spill out. But keep your spoilers light. When do we finally see trees fighting trees?
Yeah. So the War of the Trees is based off of a Welsh poem called Cadgatho, which is the War of the Trees in Welsh, and it's basically every one of these sovereignties kind of has its own indigenous tree. Drawn forth lottery.
Yeah, drawn for the lottery is kind of a shit name.
It could have been worse. Could have named her Shirley.
Yeah, or yeah. So that's basically that's book 1, and then with book 2 we pick up where she starts getting all the bad news and starts freaking out, and we start learning about kind of the world outside of like the lie and the illusion they've been taught. And that's why the first book is called Second Genesis, because that husband didn't die. He's been waylaid. He's kind of taken a big long detour and things have happened, but he ends up finding out that what the true origins of this people are, and it's not what they've been told by these giant custodial gods.
That sounds cool. That's what happened in the first book, or is that this book now?
That's the first book. Yeah,
there's a lot.
You got to remember, this is how many pages? Like she's telling an epic story.
Yeah, man, that sounds cool.
Sweet, yeah. Hopefully, it keeps people hooked because it doesn't kind of follow the younger millennial, like winking at the camera, nudge, snark.
Thank God.
Yeah. It's what I grew up with. It's that serious, like it takes itself seriously. I really want emotional resonance out of this, and I know it's probably a fool's errand, but like
not at all.
I want people to cry.
I think you're good on that.
No,
yeah,
we've got too much stuff nowadays. It's just stupid humor, like Gumball, Steven Universe, stuff like that. There's some depth to Steven Universe.
Space whale shit.
Yeah.
Interdimensional walruses.
I would love that.
Actually, my stories are going to end up falling in that category.
More pitter patter and what was the bastards one called?
Magnificent Bastards.
Magnificent Bastards. Yeah, more stories like that. That's fine. But no, there's a need for stories that actually have depth and actually like grasp you and let you connect to the story. So much of it is just like action, action, action. Oh, you're sad. One panel over. Action, action, action. It's just
yeah.
We're desensitized to actually being able to connect with characters. And dude, with as much as you got going on with Infinitale Chronicles, book 1 and book 2, I'm down for it, man. The art's beautiful. The story sounds compelling. And you have a manga edition in there too, so you already know what I'm going to be picking up.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
That was so fucking accurate.
Man, yeah. But yeah, it just, it's weird because it's like this is an ensemble cast book where it takes place over multiple generations, and not everybody survives. In fact, a lot of people don't. And
cool.
The people that do survive, it's like, holy shit, like that's not plot armor. These are people that like they pulled stuff off, but it's not like when you watched, like if you watch Game of Thrones where you're like, oh, come on. That person was just swarmed by zombies and now they're fine. Screw this.
Agree with that 100%.
Yep. Yeah, there's got to be stakes.
Yeah.
Fuck George R. R. Martin taking forever on that last book.
Yeah. What the hell, man? Is he fishing somewhere? Is he Gorton Fisherman? Like
he got that money from the TV show. I was like, fuck it, I'm going down to 5 guys.
Yeah. His arteries just like you can hear his arteries clogging as he's like
I don't understand
like,
that guy, man.
Forklift full of burgers.
Yeah, I'm halfway through the book. It's been 8 years now.
Almost done. It's almost done. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's open it back up. Let's see what we got going on with the Infinitale Chronicles. The War of the Trees.
Ooh, got a background.
Yeah, do we watch the trailer?
Yeah, fuck. Let's watch the trailer.
All right.
Wait, did you get a backer?
Yep, I was 57.
Hey, nice.
Hey, nice.
Thank you.
All right. Cool. All right, here comes the trailer. Let's blow it up first. Is that low for you guys?
I'm not hearing it. I'll let you know when I hear it, but nothing yet.
I can barely hear it. It's pretty low.
Knowledge is like a seed.
Oh, that's better.
There it is. Yeah, I hear it.
When sown in fertile minds, it opens doors to new possibilities. Truth, once buried by the ages, is again revealed. The unimaginable becomes demystified. New wonders are discovered that transcend the limitations of previous understanding. However, some doors should never be opened. Our tale continues with the divergent paths of our heroes. As a naive king toils with ancient powers beyond his control, a grieving queen makes a fateful decision that forever changes their world. Infinitale Chronicles, the War of the Trees.
Dude, whoever you had like put that together for you, they did a pretty good job. The animation on some of those scenes were just really good.
Thanks. Yeah, I did that.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's like not even surprising at this point.
I wouldn't be able to do that for $20. 25. Maybe.
That's great.
What programs did you use for that? Because I'm like seeing I'm seeing a lot of people doing that like warping of the page to make it look 3D, and I'm always kind of curious what they're doing.
So that's a filter on CapCut.
Oh, okay, CapCut. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That one.
So I used CapCut to do those 3D filters, and then I used After Effects to put it together, like that whole intro scene where the seed drops.
Yeah, I thought I saw some After Effects in there.
Yeah.
This is excellent, man.
Sweet. Yeah.
Is there? Well, you were on Mo Biggs. What was it? It wasn't last week. Was it last week or was it this week? I mean, not Mo Biggs. You were on Michael Bancroft's.
Yep. Yeah. So last Friday we launched, and so the 7-day early bird perk runs out tomorrow. So Friday to Friday, and we fully funded within an hour, and then we got the first the stretch goal. So everybody gets that, or everybody that backed the physical book gets that cool free bookmark, and then not only that, but you get a whole 36-page black and white book as well. So. For free if you back the physical books, and if you back the digital, you'll get the PDF version of that. So
nice.
Well, are you planning on launch on the first campaign and possibly this one? Have you thought about putting this on any other like the crowdfunding sites, like Fund My Comic or Kickstarter or something?
Yeah. So I was looking into Kickstarter, but I'm kind of wary of it because, like. It's not like it obviously it has a bigger reach than Indiegogo. Like you get it on Kickstarter and bam, you blow up. But like the problem that I have with it is that it doesn't lock in backing right off the bat. So like you could meet your funding goal and then a whole bunch of people could back out and it'd be like, well, it's supposed to be you. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like I'm trying to cover shipping and printing costs here.
I understand that. Mo Big says, I tried to get Chris on my channel, but it fell apart when I remembered I don't have a channel.
Well, he did call me an uppity Oriental several times.
That's awesome. No, it is amazing though to hear like how passionate and how uplifted you are versus like how you had to get here. And I enjoyed that story just as much as what you told me of Infinitale. And we don't get enough people being able to come up and present their product and their story of how to get here like you do. You and Jeremy last week are the two,
man.
Hell yeah.
Probably two of the better interviewees that we've had on this channel so far.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. Thanks for having me on, man.
Like, did you ever watch Dojo's channel? So, like, every guest, man, like most of them were not easy to listen to.
It's like, or they give one-word answers. It's like, so what got you into comics?
Oh man. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Comics. Man, I don't know. I saw somebody make a lot of money. And I got into comics.
Going with the hardballs.
Yeah, start with that.
Yeah, right.
You're cruising.
Well, it's really hard for like nobodies to get past that wall of apathy. Like, I mean, dude, like, I'm my biggest cheerleader, obviously. Like, I love this shit. I spent 30 years of my life doing this. This is a passion project or a vanity project or whatever. But like, I'd be doing this if I wasn't making money. It's my hobby. But like, to get like, I'll tell you, man, go to a comic convention, set up a table, and have people dressed up as Lord of the Rings characters walk right by you while you're like, hey, look, you're Eowyn. Why don't you come over? They're like, ugh. Like, wow, there goes that ego. And it just getting people to like,
can't like even get a Gimli? Not a Gimli? Come on.
And that's the weird thing is John Rhys Davis was literally 2 tables over.
That's
oh, shit.
Yeah. And I couldn't like it's really hard for it. Like, sure, I have one book out, but I'm still an unproven product. I got, the 253 people that backed the first campaign, like, sure, they got it and they liked it, but 253 people is small potatoes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, that is a niche of a niche of a niche. Word of mouth needs to build.
Do you have a channel and stuff? Yeah, word of mouth, getting
Yeah. You're with
your social
Immortal, aren't
media.
you? Don't you and Immortal?
Yeah. So Aaron C over at Immortal Rising Comics, he was gracious enough to let me co-host with him quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, dude, I got a I got a voice for print and a face for radio, so I tend to stay away from making channels.
I do like this this thing you got going on with your avatar. How do you
that's
pull that
awesome.
off?
Yeah, that's just OBS.
Okay, I've
we got a
heard.
little-
We've been talking about OBS.
Yeah.
StreamYards is getting a little bit shitty.
Yeah, we want to do
Yeah.
some extra stuff with our streaming, but we do not want to pay that StreamYard price.
Yeah, dude, they like
Yep.
tripled the price. Like surprise! Like what the fuck?
And they've been
Got
having
a
issues.
whole thing on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like. Yeah, what's the other one? Restream. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't like Restream.
That's
Yeah,
the one
kinda
Don uses. Don draws
Dawn
stuff.
uses Restream, and I was like in the back room. I had no idea, like what I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see what was going on, and it was just kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm on the show, and I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah, surprise!
what's going on?" That might have been my internet. I was having internet issues that day too.
Aw.
So outside of WoW and all those kind of, did you play Diablo or Dungeon Siege or
Oh, yeah.
any of the other ones?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, dude, I was a big fan of Diablo. I was the weird Philistine that loved Diablo 1 more than Diablo 2 to me was like the peak of it. After that, like Diablo 3 was basically an auction house with a game attached to it, and they had to like redesign it and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
I loved Diablo. I loved Dungeon Siege. I actually worked on a mod with a mod team for Dungeon Siege. We ended up converting the mod over from Dungeon Siege to this was the days of Kazaa, where somebody leaked the entire source engine on Kazaa before Half-Life 2 came out. We're like, oh my god, people talk and their mouths move. We got to make a game out of this. So we were like making a Half-Life 2 mod before Half-Life 2 launched.
That's awesome. Yeah, I never played Diablo or any of those, but I played Dungeon Siege 1 and 2, and dude,
Yes.
so many hours spent on those two games.
It's all about the mule.
Dude, you ain't lying. Like, I played that more than Coder and Coder 2.
Yes. Man. Have you ever played was it Torchlight?
No, but dude, it piqued my interest. I didn't have the money at that point.
Because it borrowed heavily from the Dungeon Siege stuff, where you can actually get like a pet, and you can send the pet back up to the surface to sell your shit, and then come back and you can use your pet as like a additional inventory.
Oh, there we go. Mo Biggs played a bit of Torchlight.
Yes,
Torchlight. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
man. Oh, are you a fan at all of the Metrovania style games?
Yes.
So
Yep.
I backed this game on Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and they finally released this past May, it's called Mandragora, and
Okay.
it's basically like Diablo, like a darker Diablo mixed with Metroidvania mechanics. And dude, it's freaking brutal.
Mandragora.
Yes, it's like an Eastern European team that made it, and it looks amazing, like visually at least.
I never played any of these games. I'm looking at Torchlight right now.
You're fucking missing out, bro.
Looks like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, well, I think the Torchlight team was founded by ex-Blizzard guys, I believe.
Don't let Chris gaslight you. He backed Mighty Number 9.
Hell no. I saw that freaking that cheese. What was it? The cheesy poofs thing where they're like, "Look at the explosion." I'm like, I've made better visual effects. Yeah, look at this dude.
Mandragora.
Yep.
Mega Grants recipient. Accept all cookies. Sure, why not? Game. We're gonna check out the trailer. They have a trailer. What was about this game that struck your interest so much? Just the style, or?
Well, it was made by a very small indie team, and the visuals looked better than what you would get from like a very small indie team. I was like, this is high production value, that means these guys give a shit about their product. When there's like, it's like that Expedition
You're right
33
about that.
game. Yeah,
Yep.
like when they look good like that, and there's so few people working on it, those are keepers for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Let's check it out.
This world fell to the forces of darkness before many of you were even born.
Gives me like a Prince of Persia feeling.
Yeah, a little bit. Got the skill tree.
Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree.
Yeah, they put some work into that.
Hello. What do you get when you cross a snowman and a vampire? Frostbite.
Oh my god.
Dad, you're so bad at jokes. And you already said that one.
I think my name's in there somewhere too, because I was a backer. They like put your character.
Ah, that's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, this is really cool. I'm gonna have to save this one. Hell yeah. Yeah, that definitely gave me like Prince of Persia vibes with the way you had to side scroll and climb up and down.
Yeah, double
That
jump.
looked good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Peter has an accept all cookies tramp stamp.
You waited
God.
until I was gone.
It's the mother that made him the man he is today. This world fell to forces of darkness before many of you were even born. Can we keep the present day reality out of your fantasy game?
Shut it down. He knows.
Dude,
That's
there was a
true.
game on PS3. It was like a download demo. It wasn't even a demo. It was like a full game, but it's Blood Rain Betrayal.
Mhm.
This game was actually a lot of fun because it was what's it called? It was a side scroller, but it had animation like it was
Cartoons, yeah.
like cartoons. Man, that was such a cool game.
Yeah. It was
I got like
I
a
remember
little.
seeing this one.
I like how the dudes pop in from the foreground to join the fight.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun game.
You're gonna
Biggest
scare
game
Mo off
playing.
with this anime.
Kind of reminds me of Eon Flux, the animation style.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah,
I
a
can
little
see
bit.
that.
Yeah, and then you eat them to you suck the blood out of them to I guess kill them, or you can cut their heads off.
Yeah, and then like
Yes.
spotlights burn you.
This is how I think those side scrollers, because all the old games were. I mean, I like the realistic or whatever, the 3D engines and everything, but doing the animations, I think it's a lot of fun to watch. It works
Yeah.
with the side scrolling thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think better than the 3D environment. Like, I don't know. I feel like the 3D environment, you should be like moving it around third person.
Yeah.
Kind of like you did on YouTube.
Yeah, I hope they show a part where like the dudes jump in from the foreground. Like that was really cool. Where like they're really close up and big, and you're like, "What the hell?" And then they jump into the same layer that
Kind of like the
Blood
Ninja
comes
Turtles, where like you
Yeah.
can throw people on the screen,
Yeah.
but like the
Yeah.
opposite.
from. I
Let's
love
see
that,
here.
and I love this art style. even though it's only
It looks like he's like stuck there already.
Yeah.
This is was it the Dean Takahashi player?
There it is,
there we
right
go.
there. Oh,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah, when you start getting like ganged up on and like there's crowds in the foreground coming after you, like, oh crap.
Oh man, yeah, that was awesome.
I can't believe this game was only on as like a downloadable, and then I never saw it again. PS3 dropped their servers, so you can't even play it anymore or download it.
I have it on.
I think
Steam.
I have it. Oh, is it on Steam?
Yep.
That's actually pretty cool. I might have to get it because I think I downloaded on my PS3, but then my PS3 eventually crapped out on me.
Wait a minute, is this game on your new Game Boy?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah,
It didn't have PS3 games, so probably not. But or even PS2.
Rums.
That's actually it. Might have the first Blood Rain on it.
That'd be cool either way.
Yeah,
that's going to be a new segment. What's on the Game Boy? Can it play Crisis?
Yeah,
but can it play Crisis?
So, Chris, when you were doing game animation, were you doing stuff like this, or were you working with like 3D? What was your criteria?
So the first game studio I worked for was a small startup company that was working on a fantasy third-person / first-person shooter game called Project Offset. And they ended up losing. We had Namco Bandai as our publisher, and just out of nowhere, without notice, they were just like, "Yep, we're no longer publishing you." So we ended up getting screwed by that, and it shut down the project. And one of the teams that was leasing the engine, the Offset engine that our founder of that startup had built, said, "Hey, we'll keep your studio afloat if we while you shop around for a new publisher by contracting out your employees." And they ended up contracting me out as a UX UI designer, and I did a little bit of systems design, did a lot of some multiplayer map design because I was a big shooter at the time, and I ended up staying on with that other team. That other team was called Red 5 Studios. It was a fantasy. Oh no, it was a sci-fi shooter MMO called Firefall. And I worked on that for about 3 years. And then the studio was spending money like they were Blizzard, but they never released the title. And they ended up running out of funds. And I got laid off for that. Was homeless for a little while. And then I went on to San Diego and I worked for Tryon World / NBC Universal on a sci-fi shooter / TV show called Defiance. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'd say about a month after that game released, they laid everybody off and shut the studio down. That's a good sign of great quality there, guys. And I ended up working for a company that was contracted out by Ubisoft. They shipped me out to Japan, and I worked on basically mobile Assassin's Creed stuff. And, and then finally I was like, I had my fill of being shipped around the world, chasing my meal. And I ended up just leaving the industry. I was like, I'm getting tired of this. And that's my 10 years of video game development.
That's sad to hear, man. Like the company that I worked for up until very recently was owned by Microsoft. And Microsoft did the Microsoft thing with all the layoffs that they're doing. I'm familiar with everything going on with like Embracer Group. And it's just freaking sad to hear all of that happening.
Yeah, dude. Well, here's the thing: is like in the 10 years that I was in that industry, I've known people who have self-deleted. I've known people who've died from health-related issues that I could definitely attribute to the unhealthy lack of work-life balance.
That crunch culture, yeah.
Yep, and I lost track of how many people that I knew that got divorced, and it's like. Yeah, that was kind of like, I'm like, wait a minute, so-and-so's dead. Like, yeah, I'm out. Like, it's not worth sacrificing my health for this. Like, I tried, but I care more about breathing and eating than I do about video games.
You got your priorities in check, and best of luck to you on that comic book too, man. I would love to see that thing explode so that you see some success post,
Thanks,
industry.
Yeah. Thanks, and that's the thing is like, like whenever indie creators succeed, we all succeed because it means we're not part of the corporate slop that's telling us what we should like. Like, you know, it's more I guess it's more democratic when it's the indies that are winning because we're not backed by like corporate like budgets and you know all this stuff. We're backed by actual customers and backers that are like, yeah, I give a crap enough about your books that I'm going to overpay. like because the corporations can charge you like $5 for 500 pages of My Hero Academia.
Right.
Us indies can't do that because we just can't get mass production costs like that.
Yeah. My apologies, gentlemen. I'm afraid I've got to run here. I'm at like 2% battery. My phone's about to shut off.
All right, man.
Hey, it was nice meeting you, man.
Chris, it was a pleasure, man. I will be watching this very carefully. I want to see you do well, and I hope that we get to see you again because I want to see more of this. You got an awesome thing that you're doing here. And like Jake was saying, dude, you got to really just everything that you're doing. Like you can see the pride in your work. I want to see this go far.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Best of luck to you, man. You guys have a good night.
Have a good one, man.
Cheers.
Let's see. Mo Big says unhealthy work culture. They were Mountain Dew med.
Doom.
Mountain Dew. There we go.
That dude, like, so seriously, like, we had a 9-month crunch for that Defiance thing because they needed to meet the deadline of the TV show launch. And those bastards, like, we get in this meeting and they're like, hey, for the next like 9 months, you're going to be working like 90-hour work weeks. You're coming in on weekends. If you can't take any vacations, if you get sick, you have to get it okayed by your supervisor to take the time off or don't bother coming back in and all this stuff. And then the producer who tells us this, like 3 days later, goes on paternity leave for like 2 months.
Fuck that.
Yeah, those guys are assholes.
I swear. Every industry's like that when you start getting up in the ranks.
Yeah.
You guys stay on the bottom floor, stay at work. I'm going to go hang out in my yacht and watch my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, and the thing is like, I didn't even get it the worst of it. There are people that got it so much worse than me. And it's just like, dude, you got 15 years experience in this industry. Why are you taking this crap? Well, because if I say anything, then I don't have a job. And it's like, is it worth it?
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, but then on the other side of that, you've got GTA 6 that keeps getting pushed back like every single year. It's taking forever. I'm wondering if they're doing crunch culture or if there's just too many people dying over there.
I guarantee you it's crunch culture, and I bet they're reversing their course with all like. Did you see the E3 where they were all on Zoom talking about like diversity and inclusion and stuff?
No.
Yeah, I think they're course correcting. Yeah, I think they're course correcting because let's just say the post-Trump era is not good for the DEI people, and I think that's why they got a delay is because they're like, yeah, we're not going to make we're going to destroy this like $1 billion license or multi-billion-dollar license if we release a woke trash game essentially.
I think that's coming this natural. I don't know if that has anything, and maybe with Trump. I mean, obviously that's why he's in office right now, but it's because of stuff like that. However, if you look at Rockstar's, if you look at their trends, they used to put out 2 games a year, or like at least a game a year. And then it slowly started going back, and Red Dead Redemption was the last one they put out. Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and like, ago. And the weird thing is like we can't use a barometer for companies anymore. We can't be like, oh, well, that's a Rockstar game. Look at how outrageous and edgy they were with this, because these studios are in name only now. Like all the people that make this stuff, they don't exist there anymore. Like look at Blizzard. Like everything that made Blizzard what it was, like, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, all those people are gone now. Like all the founders, all the people that made World of Warcraft, like they're gone. Like
what happened to them? Did they quit? Did they leave? What happened to them all?
I think a lot of them started their own studios. Like I think there's that Dreamhaven studio that was founded by a bunch of ex-Blizzard guys. But a lot of them do. Like Blizzard treats its employees like ass. They're like, it's a privilege to work here, so we can pay you like 20% below average, like wage.
Yeah. And what's the privilege?
Yeah, well, because it's Blizzard, the name. And for a while, like dude, like 15 years ago, like that was like the ultimate, like if you were in the gaming industry and you were like in AAA or whatever, that was the studio you wanted to work for. It was like, oh my God, Blizzard, it's like the Disneyland of, all this stuff. And then you hear all these horror stories that came out, and I've had friends literally, work themselves to the grave trying to get into that company and never succeed. And I watched cronies just walk in.
Mo Big says everyone who made the ending to Mass Effect 3 has moved on to sleeping under D-Wag's dumpster because they're not worthy of stepping inside.
Amen.
Man,
Amen.
yeah, no shit. I fucking loved Mass Effect, or the trilogy, even up to the very ending, man. But then that ending was like, what?
You heard the story about that, right? Like with Casey Hudson, the producer, who's like, the
No.
game will not have a... Dude, okay, so not only did they lie to the fans, and when the customers kind of gave like some backlash, or like Casey Hudson literally said this won't be an A, B, or C ending. Like all of your actions from the first 2 games lead into the finale of the 3rd game. Like you will get like awesome endings or whatever, And he literally says this, and apparently the endings got leaked, so they panicked at the 11th hour, released instead of A, B, C, it was red, green, and blue endings.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter how much you got on your war efforts or whatever. It's literally that's what you get. And then when when the fans or the customers gave backlash, and like, this is garbage, this Deus Ex Machina with the Star Child crap. They're like, oh, you don't like choosing red, green, or blue? Fine. If you don't choose, we're gonna make a purple ending. And if you don't choose, they have this spiteful ending they added in as a patch where you get wiped out by the Reapers. And it was like a big FU to everybody that complained.
That was pretty freaking ridiculous.
Yeah,
even part 3 was a little different, and it wasn't my favorite, but it did have its moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It wasn't like watching that redhead get blended up in that blender, and from part 2, like your assistant or something, and
oh yeah,
she gets tossed in the blender.
Well, you can save
bizarre.
her. You can save her,
but
yeah. Well, my thing is I got her blendered too.
But why would you want to save her? That blender scene is awesome.
Well, we could rescue you, but your death would be cool.
I'm getting strong Children of the Corn vibes in here now.
Did you ever play Mass Effect?
No.
That's a game I can actually talk about because I played the shit out of Mass Effect.
Dude, I thought that was going to be the next Star Wars. The first game set up a universe that was so well thought out.
And they even, when they remastered it for the PS3 and then, or maybe the PS4, they actually made the first one more like the second one. Like they used the second game's engine to kind of blend it all together, I guess. The second one's more third-person shooter or first-person shooter. And it's more like that. So it's like more of a cohesive, like it all kind of works together now.
Yeah.
And I fucking love that game. Except the last one they made, Andromeda or whatever. That one.
I didn't even bother.
It was just the exact same shit over and over again, but in another galaxy. The storyline is stupid.
My face
Mo Big says part 3 was an overall downgrade even before the ending and didn't respect some of your choices from the other games throughout the game, but it could have still been good without the ending.
Yeah.
I preferred the first one's gameplay over the second, but the second was still good.
Yeah.
I like the first one the best, obviously. The second one was so much bigger though. So much they had so much more to it.
Well, it had a more visual representation of your Renegade.
Plus
option.
Miranda's ass.
Yes, and didn't they censor that in the remake?
I don't know if they maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I never did the Miranda thing. I always went with the blue one, the blue alien chick.
Alara, no,
Liara.
Liara Tassoni.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with the space gypsy in the cockroach suit. What the hell was her name? You know, the one where they use like a bad Photoshop.
Yeah. She's like one? They like the robot people are in love with her. The Geth or whatever are like in love with her species.
Yeah, I don't know. I that was the one I did, but for some reason I still banged Jessica Chobot. I was just like randomly get the third game.
It's weird in this new revamped version. All the options I have are like gay options. It's the only ones that'll give me now.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you gotta like go back and to play the first game all over again and not do any gay options.
That's gonna leave some people like you having to do some explaining.
I forget what they call it, but like the evil runs. You ever do the evil runs where you just do everything evil throughout the whole game? That shit is so much fun. You play a game, you try to do good, you try to be like save everybody. It's way better being evil in that game.
Well, I thought so. They made some changes like ambiguous, like some of the decisions. Like at the end of the first game, when the aliens assembly people were in their big ship and they were getting rocked, they basically say you can either save them or you can save the the humans. Like we don't have enough time to do
save
both,
the humans every time.
Yeah, I'm like save the humans, and they're like
every time.
That's a renegade thing. I'm like, how is that renegade?
You'd be already dead if it wasn't for us. So fuck you. You were like talking shit the whole time.
Well, by the time when the second game loaded up, it looked at my first game saves, and like I walked into the Citadel, and there's literally no aliens on the console. Yeah, like Keith David's like, yeah, that's right, bitch. Keep walking.
I loved all the sci-fi tropes in that game. I mean, I got like so many references out of that. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Even the music, everything about it. Mass Effect 1 especially, they really went overboard with. You could tell like sci-fi fans made that game.
Yes, the synth wave, like when you go into the galaxy map.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah, man. I'm a big fan of that game. Yeah, I want to go play it again. I wonder if it's on the Game Boy. It's probably not because that's a later system. But
well, what class did you choose?
The mix where you can do both. I like throwing people around with the Force.
Yeah, they upped that in the second one, and then by the third one, you're like flinging people around the map.
Yeah, I love doing that, but I also like being able to shoot with like a machine gun. I didn't care about the sniping and all that kind of like being an expert shooter, but just a mixed all around kind of character. I forget what they called that.
Yeah, it was like the adept or something. We're boring.
Jake, you got to play that game.
It's like what the hell are these nerds talking
What's he saying over here?
Oh, no Mass Effect. Damn it.
Oh.
Peter was one of those dudes who did a Fallout run only killing the children.
Yeah,
the story was so
amen,
fucking good. Damn, the ending of the trilogy is such a tragedy.
Yeah, the way that first game ends,
it was all a dream.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. It really was.
Yeah, the first game ended so well that the second game, I was like, I can't wait, to play that second game. And the second game, it was actually better. I think better mechanics for the game, but it had like I like going to the planets with the rover, the shark, and just driving around all those random ass moons and mining that way. Just sending probes down, it's quicker, it's easier, but it's not as fun.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the way that the second game, after the banger of an ending of the first game, when you get into the second game, they literally open with you dying. Like your whole ship gets rocked. The collectors come and just obliterate you.
They've already did Mass Effect 4.
Yeah, Andromeda, and it sucked
out. No, it was announced in 2020. Fans have been eagerly waiting for more news about Mass Effect 4 since its 2020 announcement. In 2025 may be the year they get an update as BioWare shifts its focus solely to Mass Effect 4. With Dragon Age Veilguard's release in November 2024, BioWare has stated it has no plans to create DLC and that Dragon Age team has been moved on to Mass Effect 4. The entire studio is reportedly working on developing. Still in its early stages. Likely won't be released in 2025, but at least we'll get some news and updates about it.
It's a shame. They killed it for me. I don't care. Like if the team that did Anthem and the team that did Dragon Age Veilguard and all that shit, if they're not out of the picture, I don't care.
I would love to play another Mass Effect game, but
well, Big says, what do you expect from Mass Effect 4? We got what we got from Matrix 4.
Stay away from the 4s.
Mo Big says that team from Dragon Age going to be worse than Andromeda.
It might be because Dragon Age went off the deep end. It started off pretty good.
the they/them pronouns and shit. I'm like, oh, come on.
Even beyond that, the game itself is just not as fun. Like
No.
they just lost it with me on Dragon Age. And Mass Effect, I could see that if it's since they've already got Andromeda, clearly Mass Effect 4 is going to be a sequel to the original trilogy, the Shepard story, not the Shepard's great-grandchildren story.
Right.
So it's like, what are we doing? Like, isn't he dead?
Well, that's so canonically, there's only one ending where they could still breed conflict, and that's the red choice. The red choice was that he might have been taken over by the Reapers. I can't remember what that's called, infested or whatever. And the camera pans over after they blow up the mass relays, and the camera pans over on wreckage, and you see them supposedly.
Oh yeah, it's just like they like show him.
We just wish you would get the hell out of my face! Get out of my face! Get out! Don't even look back here!